We'll move on to the next subject, which is also a fairly serious one from the perspective of violence. And I say fairly, but I mean actually serious. So we are talking about the Saweetie and Quavo elevator altercation. So our specific question, and again, just so our listeners know, we always, when we release these sessions, we do provide links that are associated to the topics that we're discussing. But of course, everyone is free to do their own research and etc. But the basis of our questions are surrounded around these topics and certain links. And so the question that we have for this incident is, what should be the outcome after seeing the video? So I'm actually going to start with this one, if you fellas don't mind, because I don't really have too much to say here.
You good?
I don't really know too much about Quavo, right? I am not in any way a Quavo fan, or for that matter, a Migos fan. I know that he is a member of the Migos, and I've heard that there are a lot of people who liked his albums and etc. I can't say that I've really heard much on it at all, besides the songs that they've released commercially. And with that said, that was, basically to allude to the fact that I am not a huge fan, so I can't speak to his character always. But from what I can tell, this is a situation where the courts are going to need to be involved in order to kind of reconcile this overall issue. So in other words, the gist of the matter is that the lady didn't even file an actual complaint when this incident happened, which was in 2020. And so,
repeat that again?
Yeah, she didn't file an official complaint after this incident happened. It happened in 2020.
Hold on.
And right, exactly.
Hold on. Let me catch myself for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't. I'm trying to make sure I get this right. So you mean to tell me she didn't even file the complaint at all?
According to the article that I read on this incident, the lady did not file an official complaint after the incident occurred. I don't know if that's saying that she's done it recently, but after this incident initially occurred, neither one of them went to the police to report the incident.
That's not surprising.
Right.
At least not for me. It's not surprising.
It's not surprising. It's just like, you know what? Now I'm gonna let you finish before I come.
No worries. No worries. So, for me, what this boils down to is there are oftentimes that people get into these volatile and toxic relationships, and it becomes a norm to them.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Because it becomes a norm to them, sometimes they can't see just how dangerous of a situation they're in until it's too late.
I agree.
The good thing about this incident, if you even want to use that terminology, is that it's my understanding that they are officially separated. So hopefully they are, healing and becoming better people separate from each other.
They're
but
married?
Overall, I'm sorry?
They're married?
No, they weren't married. They just separated as a couple.
Oh, I thought that fool was married to Cardi, but that's just...
No, that's Offset you're thinking about. This is Quavo.
See, I don't see... Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I know nothing. see?
Offset is
like one of those Migos dudes.
Yeah, right, one of those Migos dudes. That's what I'm thinking.
Offset is the one with Cardi B, and Quavo is the one we're referring to in this incident with Saweetie. And so,
Thank you for the
my
clarification.
Oh, no problem. No problem. No problem, sir. So, at any rate, my answer to the question is very simple. What should be the outcome after seeing the video was the question. The outcome should be whatever the courts deem is applicable. Neither one of these parties raised this or raised the complaint or raised this incident right after it happened. Whatever the court says is applicable for this incident, obviously, is what should happen. I'm just glad to hear that the two parties are separate, and hopefully they can move on to improve themselves. And if the relationship is that toxic and volatile, stay away from each other. So those are
I agree.
my thoughts
I agree.
on the
I
matter.
agree.
So I'm going to go ahead and we threw the last subject to E-Man. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. PAT. What say you, sir?
Well, I 100% agree with everything you just said. But to answer the question, and my response is going to be a little bit on the more general side, because Quavo and Saweetie are two people that I don't follow, or I don't know much about them really.
Me either.
So
Agree.
There's
I proved it on air. So yeah.
So there's nothing much I can really say about them. Those two as just separate individuals or whatever. But when it comes to the question, I say there doesn't need to be an outcome, and I only say that because they have already broken up, as we've spoken about earlier. They've parted ways. This incident happened a year ago, and they both said that they moved on. Unfortunately, domestic violence happens all the time. As we all know, domestic violence is a problem.
Yeah.
It's something that happens between couples, married or otherwise.
Yep.
Things get heated and tempers flare up, and things just happen to get physical.
Yep.
This happens with celebrities and regular everyday people.
Yep.
The thing is, now we're in the digital age. We're in the digital age where damn near everything is being recorded. If someone is not recording with their cell phone, there is surveillance everywhere else. You can't really go anywhere and not be on camera somewhere.
I agree.
So whatever dysfunctions your relationship might have, all it takes is for it to take place out there in the public, and whatever you think is a private dispute, it will become public property. So you and your loved one will now be on display for the world to see. The world at large will have a front row seat to the toxicity in your relationship, marriage or otherwise. Overall, I don't think what happened in the elevator should be some big time news story. I mean, what took place in that elevator is something that has probably happened and still happens between average couples on a regular basis. I'm pretty sure if we
conscious at one point.
I'm pretty sure if we look at surveillance videos of elevators all over the world, we'd see a ton of couples fighting in them. And I'm not saying this to be funny or anything like that. I really think if we were to really take a look at surveillance videos of elevators or just anywhere else, we always see people fighting each other. Now, the outcome of this particular incident is that, in my opinion, there doesn't need to be any heavy media backlash. I mean, because Saweetie and Quavo have parted ways already and they've moved on with their own lives.
I agree.
Unfortunately, we live in a society where Black dysfunction is a source of entertainment. Black dysfunction has been on full display for who knows how long. So I just think it's one of those things where we don't need to really, and when I say we, I'm just talking in general, not just, but just in general, but we don't need to make this bigger than what it is. I just think everyone needs to move on. This is just one of those videos that needs to be out of sight and out of mind at this point. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah, I think for and Eman, we're going to throw this to you shortly. I think though, for me, the portion of the video where she's actually unconscious, I hope that is not happening commonly.
Oh wow!
Because
what?
Well, hold on, time out.
Time out.
I didn't know about the unconscious.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
There was some point in the video where she was out for a couple of seconds. It was similar to the Ray Rice incident where the woman was actually like not coherent for a period of time in the incident.
So I saw the slip and the fall, but I didn't know she took a nap.
Yeah, well, I don't know that she took a nap. I don't know that she took a nap per se, but there is a portion of the video where she is not like responding. And I don't know if they're saying that she was fully knocked out, or maybe she just got knocked down hard enough that she wasn't coherent enough to respond per se. But yeah, the footage itself of the video, the actual what happened, is not like a general like I shove you, you shove me kind of situation, or just yelling or arguing. Like they got fairly physical. So I think that's probably the reason why it's garnering so much attention, because I think and again, even with that said, to Pat's point, and as we were saying earlier, they are technically separated right now. And as I was saying earlier, neither officially filed a complaint back when the incident happened. But the video footage that I saw, to me, seemed a little more serious than just like a arguing match back and forth, because their physicality was along the lines of like the Ray Rice physicality. And I don't know if you all remember that incident where
I remember that.
I remember that because Ray Rice loaded up on her.
Yeah, like, and so I think from that perspective, I'd hope is that both parties have realized that it is probably in both of their interests to stay away from each other.
I agree.
Right? And that they're trying to, in the most healthy ways possible, improve who they are as human beings. Because one thing I'm not doing is making any assumptions about their relationship. As I said, I'm not a fan of either one of them per se, right?
Meaning, who would name themselves Saweetie in the first place? I'm just saying.
Right. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not a follower of either one of them, so I'm not speaking to either one of their characters. But for me, that incident looked a little bit more than a typical domestic dispute between two people in a relationship. So I'm hoping they really are staying the hell away from each other.
I agree.
Yeah, and real quick, because I saw the video, and I saw when it got physical. I saw the physicality, and I'm in no way trying to downplay it or taking this lightly. This is definitely not something that
absolutely
needs to be taken lightly.
I agree.
I didn't know that she was unconscious. I didn't know that part. I just saw the video and I saw her get knocked down, and that was pretty much how I took it. And I really did more so reading than watching the video. I watched the video, but I just said, okay, it's a physical altercation, another elevator incident, because we've seen these elevator incidents before. So I really just took in the information on.
No worries. And again, multiple sites are reporting multiple things. That's why I said it's not really the clearest, but like there's a portion of it where like and Quavo is standing right with his like backpack or whatever, and she's laying on the floor, like almost out of camera range. And he's so like even if she's not like physically unconscious, she's like on the floor.
Right, I did see that part. I saw when she was on the floor.
I saw that part, but she took a nap. Like she took a real nap.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know for sure that she was like. I'm not saying that she was knocked out completely, but there is a portion of the video where she is like on the floor and is like not responsive, for lack of a better term.
Oh my!
And then finally, and then at some point, so she doesn't get up, like even after the doors open again, right? And then Quavo's like this case thing to block it open, and then finally she stands up and exits the elevator.
Wow.
Yeah, so it, you know, again, I didn't see the full video from like a police perspective. I'm not speaking on any terms of any official investigator and not saying, hey, that's enough for, you know, the police to do anything. But yeah, it definitely was, at least to me, this is just from my perspective, it seemed like it was a little more along the lines of like the elevator incident with Ray Rice, and I hate to say his name again. I know he's probably thinking, how many times she gonna bring that up? But it seemed like it was definitely more along that kind of incident, to the point it definitely got fairly dangerous, in my opinion. But Eman, we are going to officially throw it to you. What say you, sir?
Thank you so much. So the initial question is just my thoughts on this, right? Correct? And towards
yes. So the official question is, what should be the outcome after seeing the video?
Well, if there wasn't a police report, you know, it's basically done, to be honest. You know, I mean, certain states allow you to, you know, write a report in like 2 years and whatnot. And this happened in 2020, yet no report has happened. We're just going off with a video that, you know, that's been seen, and now everyone is speaking their piece on it, you know? So if those parties have decided to go their separate ways, you know, in my mind, it's over, you know, it's over in my mind, you know, but it's up to one of them to pull the card and be like, well, I'm charging you with this. But it seems like if it's not being charged as domestic violence, it's basically just saying it never happened. Even though we have a camera footage that it did happen, but based upon law towards his, you know, if you're taking it to court and him being, you know, charged with something, he's not being charged with anything, you know? And I can say it's sick, I can say it's deranged, but that's basically how these two parties chose to go about this. I'm not a fan of both of them, because every time I hear the Migos, I keep thinking like the whole hibbity hoppity and like the people who can't like rap and like they whisper and do all that other stuff like that. So I know nothing about them. So
mumble rap.
Mumble rap is a better term. That's the official term. You know, that's the better term. See, because I'm not even down with like this foolishness and whatnot. But it's 2021 now, you know, and I'm making this a huge public service announcement. All right, women out there in the world. All right, if you have a toxic man, please do yourself a favor and just leave. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, fellas, if you guys are being toxic too, it's time to get your lives together and definitely leave, because this whole domestic stuff has to stop, because we keep bringing in more and more toxic people and they make other people toxic, and we keep creating this damn cycle, and it's becoming a sick damn cycle. All right, that is my public service announcement. We need to start doing better. All right, because I agree with everything, you know, with Nine Angel and PAT, but I'm just ending it. The shit has to end. Like I don't want to hear about another damn rapper doing something silly, because you guys want to be adults. Be adults. You guys need to stop acting like children and whatnot. You know. And I'm gonna end it from there.
Okay, absolutely, fellas. I think we definitely said our piece on that one. You know, at the end of the day, we hope that, you know, couples can work through their issues amicably and without violence. Especially as, you know, you eloquently put it, Eman, you know, it's 2021, and I know that, you know, violence can happen in any time, in any era, but hopefully with as informed as we are as a society now, you know, people start taking the time to make better decisions. Just walk away. You know what I'm saying? When you feel yourself getting to that point where you're about to boil over, especially with someone that you're in a relationship with, you know, that you cared for, you know, walk away.
There's nothing wrong walking away, and there's nothing wrong leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do what's good for your soul, and do what brings good peace in your life.
Absolutely right. Agreed. Agreed, fellas.